My name is Axel Laurain. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I am from Troy, Michigan, and I am a senior in communication studies with a focus on public advocacy. Yeah, so I grew up in kind of like the traditional, as you could guess, suburban middle class family life. But I wasn't really doing well in school. I have, as most kids these days, a lot of like anxiety, ADHD, depression, and all of that stuff. And so, as you could guess, sitting in a classroom for 8 hours a day was not really good for me. And I had a really hard time with school. I was doing very poorly, and I decided to go to the tech school because at least then I could still continue to go to regular high school and not get a GED. And it ended up being an amazing opportunity. The school was a lot more hands-on, and they treated you a lot more like adults. And it was amazing. I met this instructor named Sarah Gamble, which is now Sarah Walker because she got married. And she was an alumni at Ferris State University, and she taught me how to weld by hand. I competed in state competitions welding. I got my first welding job at like 17, and I really loved it. And that's what made me come to Ferris, is they had the top welding program in the US and have a lot of hands-on skills. And so I wanted to become an engineer in welding, but as you could guess, and as you can tell, that is not what happened. I really like welding. I will forever enjoy that like hands-on, and like it is still a very important thing to me. But the culture around it was something I had a really hard time with. It is a very conservative field, as you could guess. And given the type of person I am, did not really go well. I had a lot of professors and students kind of give me a hard time, kind of an uphill battle. And it was very frustrating for me because I knew I had the skill. I knew I was good at what I did, but I would get lower grades or kind of like put in bad positions because of the students and the professors there. And I spent the summer having a longer crisis with my friend, and I looked through every single major that Ferris had because I was like, I don't want to transfer schools. And I found out about the comp program and their specific focus and advocacy. And I was like, I want to keep doing good things, but I want to be paid and I want to be skilled in it. And so I changed programs that summer, and I flew through the program, basically focusing on ways I could make any field better for anyone. So ironically, when I came, I did like one of those Ferris Shadow Day tour things in the welding program. And I went with some friends of mine who are also in the tech school. And that year they were putting in the LGBTQ center, and they were joking with me, and they're like, oh, look, they know you're coming to Ferris. They built an LGBTQ center. And so, of course, I checked it out my first week there, and I just kind of got like caught in the culture. It was a really amazing place. It was brand new. So there was like all these opportunities for students to help. I know walking out that I've done some good. Like they now have gender inclusive housing that I helped with. I helped with the LGBTQ like housing floor in Bond Hall, and they still use my training with housing. And it feels good to know that there's just some good impact in there. And I've had, if anything, a small but good impact on a local community. Take a deep breath. It's gonna be okay. I have had so many frustrating moments where I have wanted to give up. I remember crying by the river behind the welding building when like a professor told me I was not fit for the program and he doesn't think I should be there. And I was so heartbroken because like welding was such an important thing to me. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to take those times and like be upset, but you have to use it as fuel, because what are we gonna win if they keep putting us down? And so like, that's what I did. I said, okay, I'm gonna get up, and now I write the trainings that professors have to take. And it's kind of good to know that no matter how much, there's always going to be progress. And even if you do a small thing, it's going to make a difference, because even if you impact just one person, that's one change. And it's going to take a lot of small things to make that difference.